What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to our first uh, YouTube softball live. As we get some more people on here, we'll get started with really all things Sooner softball wise. If you're not part of what's going on, make sure you are subscribed to the Sooner Surge. Be a part of what's going on as we provide daily content, and softball's been a big part of that. We appreciate all the viewers that have been really driving this channel, those that have commented and liked a lot of the videos. Uh, but we're here tonight to talk about all things Sooner softball, the monster that it is, the dominant program Coach Gasso has in Norman, Oklahoma. A lot of exciting things in store for the Sooners this year, Jay, with really, as you heard Patty Gasso talk in her, I believe it was Twitter, where she was talking about buying tickets for the Battle Series, and we'll get to that in a second, the Battle Series and those dates for you. But she's really excited about this year. She knows that it's a special group, a lot of seniors on this team, and really exciting year ahead. Combine that with Love's Field being open opening week, and just all that's there with the 53 game winning streak that's on the line, with back to back national championships that they have there in Norman. So a lot of exciting things. Be a part of this Sooner softball program that we have here as we continue to cover Sooner softball. So Jay, let's get right to it. Biggest things maybe to look forward to as the fall battle series starts next week on Wednesday, October 4th. If you haven't gotten your tickets, we'll make sure we put a link in the comments. And we want to hear from you, our viewers. Make sure you're dropping comments during this YouTube live so we can pull those up on the screen and answer those questions, or make sure we talk about those comments, Jay.
Yeah, I just love the questions. If you got any questions, ask them. Put them in the chat or any comments. It's been pretty cool off season, I think. After winning 3 in a row, and you just keep thinking, what else can they do? What else can they get better at? And they just seem to year get better and better. And it's going to be, like you said, it's a huge year because of the seniors that'll be going out. I mean, this senior class. I mean, you look at ones like Jada Coleman and Tiare Jennings. They've never not won a natty. I mean, that's all they do is win natties, right? And at Kenzie Hansen too. I mean, it's just like, man, you for sure they're going to want to go out with another natty, and so they're going to be super pumped. Like Patty said, it's got to be special for her because I think it's cool. Softball's a cool sport because you don't get that in every sport. You don't get the ones that stick around that long in every sport. You think of football and basketball. A lot of those players leave early to go to the new things, to go to the pros. But in softball, man, they stick around, and it's just they almost become like family. And even as Sooner fans, you kind of feel like it's like a family. And so, yeah, I'm super pumped, man. October 4th, just next week. Next week, you got Battle Series start. You got OU Texas football. It's gonna be a crazy week, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this first Battle Series to see who all pitches, see kind of where they play players and stuff. So,
yeah, Colin, appreciate the comment here.
Great question.
Where does Patty stand all-time OU sports coach? Colin, I was thinking this the other day. Obviously, Sherry Cole was like, one of the greatest women's coaches of all time until Patty Gasso. What Patty Gasso has done, exactly, I agree. Patty Gasso, I mean, is she with Bud Wilkinson and Barry Switzers? And I mean, I think you have to. She may be above all.
She may be the greatest. If you look at the span she's been at OU and how many national championships she's won, I mean, it's hard to argue it, right?
Oh, yeah. And it's not just that, it's the way she's done it. She's the culture at OU. We've had several of the softball players on the Sooner Surge with interviews, and every time we'll ask them, what is it about OU? Tell us, can we get a little insight into the culture? And every one of them talk about how different it is and how family oriented it is. And Patty Gasso does not sway and compromise what she believes. And it's a testament to how she's winning. And you know what? She makes very tough decisions, and she makes
Yeah.
them well. And she's got some tough ones this year. Who's going to play shortstop? I think is one question mark. How is she going to use the six-headed monster of this pitching staff, this elite, dynamic pitching staff? That's going to be interesting. A lot of decisions being made by Patty Gasso, and we know that in Patty we trust. It's going to be interesting as that plays out. And Brian, I know Brian's a great viewer of ours. We appreciate you, Brian, always commenting and being a part of the Sooner Surge. Greatest coach of all time. Her devotion to the university is unmatched, and I would second that. It is unmatched.
It's hard to argue it. I mean, and what she does, the thing about her is she evolves every year. Like last year, you look at the pitching staff last year, that was unusual for OU because usually they would have you go back to the lefty, a Page. Who am I thinking?
Paige Lowry?
No, you got Juarez, okay, and then you had Hope
Gabriel
Troutman,
Juarez, yeah.
and then you had Hope Trout. There was a lot of years where you had one pitcher that was dominant, throwing a lot of innings, and last year Patty they evolved a little bit, and they had 3 or 4. I mean, and now you see this year she's got 6 pitchers. I mean, it seems like she's always on top of it, no matter what it is, and they're just going to keep winning natties. I mean, to me, they're getting 4 in a row.
Oh, no question. Who are you looking forward to seeing take the next step next year for OU softball? Maybe a new transfer.
I got an answer for that one.
And I got one too. So I'm curious what the viewers think as well. What's yours, Jay?
I don't know how it's going to play out with shortstop. I don't. But I really would like to see Avery Hodge be a little bit more of an impact player. And I think she can. I mean, I think she's very talented. And we'll see who they play at shortstop, if she's going to be the shortstop or who it may be. But I would love to see her. I think her fielding is dynamite. I think her bat is what she needs to improve on. And I'd love to see her take that next step.
Yeah, and one that I think there could be out of the portal. You got Keeney and Monticelli as far as out of the portal. You got Ludden, who's going to be behind Kenzie Hansen, may get some utility position. But I honestly think someone who was there last year is going to make even more of an impact than she did last year. I think Alina Torres is going to have a very special season. Her pop, her bat's going to, I think, be better. She's going to hit more dingers this year for sure. She's one I look at. Viewers, who do you think, as far as who do you look forward to seeing maybe take that next step next season? I'm also curious, Nicole May. Okay, Nicole May has been there for a long time. She took really the next step. Last year, she was ranked top 5 ERA in the nation. But she seems to have been underappreciated, even by Sooner fans sometimes. Be curious to see, with her as maybe the ace, or is this going to be an ace by committee? Because you do have Kelly Maxwell as well. I really wanted to see the Jordy Ball matchup in the Mary Nutter Classic. We're not getting that. I'm disappointed in that, but I am excited, as Colin said. And Brian as well. Kirsten Deal, guys.
Yeah,
Kirsten Deal is the real deal. I mean, she got out of jams last year. She pitched in tough situations. She just didn't get a lot of run. She's a dynamic pitcher. I think they're going to use her a lot more. And Kelly Maxwell. We heard Kenny Gajeski. Jay, go ahead and talk about that, because you probably heard him backtrack on his comments, but I'm just glad she's in a place where she's going to be appreciated.
I was wondering how long we would get into the live before Kenny Gajeski came up, but I mean, if anybody saw it, if any of the viewers watching this saw it the other day, his little video excerpt, it's just I think he'd be better off not bringing it up again. Like, you said what you said, and let's move on. I mean, and it was a little bit of a backtrack for sure, but he said it. I don't know why he's trying to backtrack on it now. You know what I mean? And so, but hey, I don't really want to talk about Gajeski. I don't think it really even deserves any conversation, because I think what's going to happen, no matter what happens, is Kelly Maxwell is going to pitch the first game against Bedlam, and they're going to get run rolled. OU is going to run roll OSU, maybe a shutout by Kelly Maxwell, and then they don't need to talk about it anymore after that. But hey, you mentioned Nicole May. I think for Nicole May to take the next step, she's going to have a dominant performance in the World Series. I think she's going to have a performance, maybe a shutout or something, because I think that's where the holdup with people is in the postseason as well. You know, she pitches good, but not like maybe as good as she was pitching in the regular season, right? She needs a dominant performance in the postseason, I think, to really like catapult her to the next level.
Yeah, and before we continue, we appreciate the comments. Keep dropping them in here. We'll be here for a while talking Sooner softball. We got the super things turned on. You can drop something there. But a special shout out to 3 birthday athletes there at the University of Oklahoma. Jada Coleman's birthday this week. Carly Keeney's birthday. Cassidy Pickering. And Pickering's going to be an interesting one. You know, if she's going to, where it's going to happen with her in the field as far as where she might get some time at. You know, of course, losing Erickson, they definitely lost some, but Patty Gasso has replaced each one of the ones she's lost, and I think she's basically handpicked who she wanted at those positions and position groups. Yeah. And I want to say something about Coach Rocha. Time and time again, we've had some, you know, athletes from the team on the podcast, and we asked them about Rocha, and what Jenny Rocha is doing with the staff there is unbelievable. Unbelievable. What a treasure the Sooners softball team have in just a treasure in Jen Rocha and Coach JT Gasso.
Yeah. I mean, the staff is unreal, and the strength and conditioning goes kind of unnoticed, but what they do is different than most. I mean, they're on a different level, period. I mean, people talk about Schmitty with the football program. Well, the strength and conditioning with softball, it's on a whole nother level. I mean, you look at the leaps and bounds that are made by these players between their freshman to senior year. It's crazy. Even from freshman to sophomore year, you see a big jump in power from some of them or whatever it may be. But I'm interested to know from our viewers here, who do you think day one starters at shortstop? And Jeremy, I'll open it up to you too. I mean, who do you think the day one starters at shortstop?
Yeah, we've gone back and forth on this. I know on the Sooner Surge, there's so many options that Coach Gasso has. Do you slide Burrito over? Do you bring Torres in at third? Torres has played a lot of different positions. Is Avery Hodge solidified there at shortstop? Do you do something with TRA? There was even talk of Jada Coleman, you know, played that.
And you got incoming freshmen too.
You got incoming freshmen. My gut is telling me this is Avery Hodge's position. Now, I don't know if they're going to, in this battle series, you know what, you got 7 or 8 weeks. You got the fall ball battle series where they play each other. Then you have the 2 opponents with, I think it's North Central Texas College and Seminole. It'd be interesting. I think that whoever they go with, I don't know that it's going to be set in stone until, you know, some way through the year. They kind of offer different things. Avery Hodge's quickness is probably unmatched. She's got the range. Her bat may not be as good. We know Colin here has a comment about the number 1 scoring lineup last year. They returned everyone but Grace Lyons, and that's true. And Grace Lyons last year, I mean, let's be honest, Grace Lyons is one of the best OU softball players of all time. And she made some great hits there in the postseason, but she struggled a little bit hitting wise, but she was a phenomenal fielder. So you could even give up a little bit with the bat to play someone in the field who's going to be electric. So yeah, David says needs to be Avery Hodge. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Jay?
That's kind of where I was kind of thinking they may go with Hodge. I mean, she's played shortstop probably more than anybody I would think. I mean, through high school and everything, she played a ton, and she's very athletic, very rangy, can cover a ton of ground. And like you said, look at the lineup, right? You don't need – I mean, to me, I would think they would rather sacrifice a little bit of hitting than they would defense. I mean, they got so much power and pop through that lineup that And Avery Hodge is probably a lot improved on her hitting. I mean, so I mean, I'd love to see Avery Hodge get it, and also she's pretty young, so you would have that position for a few years. You know what I mean? And so I would kind of lean with that, with what he said there, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for, because I've heard the talk about Tiare Jennings moving over as well. I don't know if they'll do that. They might do it to Challenger. I mean, that could be a possibility. I don't know, but we'll find out probably. I think pretty early that Patty will figure it out.
Yeah, and that's the key. Patty will figure it out, as Colin says here. And you know what's so interesting is Coach Gasso. She's made. I mean, you look back. There's some things maybe you could say, man, I don't know about that, and they seem to always work. I mean, I can think of some off my top of my head. I remember last year pinch hitting for Kinsey Hansen once in the postseason. You're thinking, I'm not sure about that, and it worked out.
Well,
she's got a her gut, her instinct, her knowledge of the game, what she really wants to accomplish with the team is unmatched in college sports, maybe even professional sports. How she knows her players and her athletes, and they would all attest to that. You even ask about recruiting weekends and just how motherly, how familial the relationship is there with Patty Gasso. And, you know, she does have difficult decisions. And you look at the 2025 class, Jay, combined with this 2024 class, combined with the #1 ranked transfer portal class that they got in the 4 girls that got out of the portal, 4 ladies out of the portal, Gasso knows they're losing a lot. Gasso knows that after this next season, there's a lot of there's going to be a lot of turnover in positions. So it'll be interesting how many of the young ones get some playing time early, maybe in some blowout victories. But yeah, I mean, you're going to definitely ride these seniors with however far they can take you. But Colin, not to get negative, but how long do you think Patty stays? And you're right.
That's a great question.
And Colin, you're right. There were thoughts. There were thoughts. There were rumors, maybe. And look, anyone on here who's Sooner fans and watched the College World Series saw the interview with Patty Gasso. I mean, there was a lot last year. The expectations, stressful situations. She always handles it so well. You would have never have known that throughout the season, but you saw her address that, confirm that, let the viewers know that. So now she embraces it. She welcomes it, but you got to wonder.
Jeremy,
and you got to wonder who's next. Is JT the next in line? I mean, you got to wonder those things. Until then, we enjoy it. We enjoy every minute of it. The statue's going up this season. As Joe C said, it's going to be ready. You got to get out there and get to that game to see that statue go up.
I think JT Gasso is definitely the next coach, probably when it happens. But over under 3 years, Colin, what do you think? And viewers, what do y'all think? Over under 3 years on Patty, Jeremy? 3 more years?
I'm going to say 3. I don't know if I would go over 3. I'm going to say 3 because I think she would
Well, that's why I set the line at that. Yeah.
I think she would want the next batch to she would want to lead maybe those crew, because here's the thing about the recruits you get, you're going to have them for 4, maybe 5 years. So.
Yeah. I might go under 3. I don't know.
Steve says she is signed through 28, which would be really, I guess, 4 more seasons, 24, 25, 5 more seasons. So, yeah, I mean, look, whatever she decides, she's a Hall of Famer, no doubt. She's probably the greatest coach, as we debated earlier, in OU sports history, possibly. I mean, if you just look at championships, you got a win streak right now of 53 games, viewers. How many is that going to get to? You saw the schedule released with the Mary Nutter Classic. How many games is this team going to win in a row? Are they going to lose more than 1? The number they lost last year? It's just going to be a very interesting season, exciting season, so much. I'm curious to see if the Fall Ball Classics are going to sell out of Marina Hines. If you sell out Fall Battle Series, that is insane. That is
Well,
insane. I think they're going to sell it out.
I do too. I think there's just so many people that want to watch it. Recruiter of the
Recruiter of the
year.
year,
Yeah.
not only in a high school, but the transfer portal. And yeah, I'd go watch this game again right now. And I wasn't there in person, Colin, but the walk off versus Clemson, when it looks like there is no possible way that they're going to do it, they do it. I never
But
seen anything like it.
how many times? But how many times in the last few years has it seemed like they're down and out? I mean, and it's like boom, they're right back in it. And last year, it's like you just never knew who was going to come up and step up and get that. And Kinsey in that one, but there's been games with Grace Lyons. I think what game was it? They had back-to-back homers. Was it Sydney and Grace Lyons in the World Series? I believe back-to-back jacks. I mean, just somebody always stepping up, and that's the thing. And that to me is going to be the biggest thing with all these seniors leaving is you talk about big-time players and big-time moments. Go through these seniors, and they step up nearly darn every time.
Oh yeah, Nate here, A&M Aggie. A&M Aggie, hey, congrats on the Terry Bussey commit earlier tonight.
Yeah,
5-star stud athlete, maybe the best athlete in high school. A&M lands him, but yeah, OU's excited to get to the SEC. Every player we've had on here with interviews, they're chomping at the bit to get in the SEC. It's definitely a better softball conference, softball atmosphere, and OU's going to have the premier atmosphere at Love's Field, and the amenities in that park are insane. They're unbelievable, and it is going to make everyone better. I really wanted to get OU Tennessee matchup in that Mary Nutter Classic as well, and didn't get that either. But appreciate the comment, Nate.
I think it's
also, hey, you, thanks for the comment. Keep them coming, guys.
Hey, also, Nate, what I love too about the SEC is that their fans love softball too. I mean, they really do. They have good stadiums to watch games in. The fans love it. OU travels well, so there's going to be a lot of OU fans going to those SEC stadiums. It's going to be great atmosphere, great softball, man.
Yeah, so
yeah, the Love's Field.
I mean, if you've seen the blueprints of Love's Field, they have a place for classroom stuff. They're going to have, obviously, the place where the accolades and the many trophies that these Sooners have accumulated to show off there. It's going to be great. You're going to have a great workout facility, training facility there as well. It's going to be top notch. That you're going to have the statue that's going to be unveiled this season. So all that is exciting. And then you got this senior class, guys. The senior class. It's the best senior class that in any sport probably in the history of OU athletics. That's not a hyperbolic statement.
Well, they've won 3 in a row. Yeah.
It's 3 in a row. It's going to be 4. Yeah, SEC tournament is incredible. And I want to bring that up, Nate, because there's been talk that maybe that tournament, gets moved different places. I know OU's always played, or as far as the Big 12 Walton Hall of Fame Stadium, Jay.
Yeah.
But there's been talk if, Hall of Fame Stadium is going to host the SEC or how they're going to do that. But also a stud that they're getting in Bordy. That is correct. OU is getting a stud in Bordy.
Number 1 pitcher in the class. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Hey, they got the number 1 pitcher, the number 1 catcher. I mean, they're set, man. I mean, and she is absolute. I mean, if you've watched any of her high school tape, and if you've seen what she's done in postseason there, it's unbelievable. I mean, it is unreal. She's unreal. I mean,
oh yeah. OU football G freaky.
Yeah.
Hey, to me, Colin, it's just a testament of the camaraderie, of the great bonds that these ladies have, that they are, able to do these things, and just really the passion that they play with is amazing. Hey, you talks about how many other coaches have this many number 1 recruits at their positions coming in at this time of year. That's a great question. Hey, you, and one thing I want to talk about is, you saw in the NBA, right? Dame Lillard, Dame Time going to join Giannis and company. You've seen it in other sports where the parity is becoming closer and more. And you've got to wonder. I thought maybe when Jordy Ball, what was her name from Stanford?
Vaughter,
What?
Elena Vaughter.
What? Vaughter. I thought
Yeah.
maybe some of these players might team up and go somewhere and try to take down the dynasty, the evil dynasty, as some call it, dark dynasty, whatever, of OU softball, but it didn't happen.
Evil
But yeah,
Empire.
it's interesting. So many number one recruits this time of year. We don't talk of Mike White. I'm just kidding. But yeah, Mike White, what Texas is doing. There are two elite programs coming into the SEC with softball, as well as other sports, maybe with football. But yeah, and also baseball. The SEC baseball conference is insane as well. So it's definitely picking up for OU and Texas heading there. Yeah, so I lost you, Jay. You there?
Yeah, I'm interested to. I mean, somebody talked about nicknames earlier. The incoming freshmen. I'm super excited for the incoming freshmen this year. Last year's freshmen didn't get a whole lot of playing time. And I'm interested this year if these incoming freshmen get a little bit more. It's a great class as well. I mean, and it's just you look at last year. S.J. Guerin was another pitcher. Was a freshman. Kind of had a little injury, but didn't pitch. Interested to see how she does this year. You got Peyton Monticelli, Kirsten Deal. That pitching staff is just loaded. I mean, absolutely loaded. And then we've talked to S.J. Guerin and Peyton Monticelli. Did I miss any from the pitchers that we talked to? And they both said that it's going to be hard for teams to prepare for them because, they may go once through the lineup and then they may throw another pitcher in there. And that's hard to do. I mean, softball's hard. I played fast pitch softball, and you talk about hard. It was hard. I mean, and if you had to, you kind of get used to it, and then throw somebody else out there. It's going to be interesting to see how Patty does that.
Keep cutting out, Jay. Couldn't hear you there. But yeah, Kirsten Deal, I think, is going to get a lot of run. The lefty, really, they have a few lefties on the staff, so that's going to be good, be able to use them. And I think Nicole May's got to have a great year. She's had a great year, maybe even being that one they go to maybe in postseason where Gasso seems to maybe stick with one, the hot pitcher. But we've gone 30 minutes almost, and we have not even mentioned Riley Boone. Someone who's unbelievable there in the 9-hole, someone who gets on base, really is a great leader. The outfield is unbelievable, can cover so much ground, the speed they have. And that was one we haven't even mentioned in Riley Boone. But yeah, Colin says, still have respect for the pitcher in the postseason that gave us fits, Kennedy. Oh, yeah, Kennedy. I mean, and what's crazy is there was talk of her leaving. She's not leaving. She's going to be there. They're going to be there in the end in the postseason because anyone that has pitching like that is going to be around in the postseason. So, yeah, she was definitely a threat as far as the bats, but, of course, OU overcame that hurdle.
Are you all in?
Can't hear you, Jay. You're cutting out. All four freshmen. Yeah, I think all four freshmen play this season. That will be interesting if they all play. Also saw that video that Nellie Mack is in a knee brace. Hope she is okay. Yeah, I've not seen or heard that. So, that would be something to maybe keep an eye on as the fall battle series approaches, whether that was precautionary, whether that was something that could be an issue. But yeah, definitely the freshman. Pickering, she can play multiple positions, and really all the freshmen can play multiple positions. They've got several lefty hitters that'll be there that can hit from the left side of the plate. So obviously Patty Gasso last year used Erickson. You also got Quincy Lilio is another name that, did not get a lot of playing time last year. So that'll be interesting. Kennedy is unbelievable. Nate Kearney says College Station is awesome. I have been to College Station, Nate. It was for an OU football game. We even saw the bats there under the stadium. You could see bats under the stadium. OU got the win with Paul Thompson leading a comeback. Alan Patrick had a great game. It was an awesome environment. I was not aware of, the stepping on the grass there at College Station was, prohibited. I didn't even know that. A lot of great tradition really there at College Station. So, yeah, it would be a great environment. Maybe have to go down there and catch a game now that they're in the SEC. Hey, you says it's so much more than just playing ball. It's the mission of the program to make the girls into leaders past playing ball. Patty develops athletes into leaders. And hey, you, that's exactly right. We had every one of these ladies said that in the interviews with us, that they chose OU because of post athletics, because of relationships. That these are young ladies, coaches that are going to be at their weddings in their future. And she's done a great job. It's unbelievable to see. So kudos to Patty Gasso and what she's able to do there. Is OU planning on renovating the football stadium? There's talks of a lot of renovations at the university on campus. One for sure is this talks of the gymnastics, having this facility with OU basketball. It looks amazing if you've seen the draw-ups of this, moving away from Lloyd Noble Center there on basketball. I have not heard a lot on football. They've done some things recently. I'm sure there's going to be more on that.
Yeah, they had the renovation. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's your thoughts on the 4 freshmen? The comment about Nellie Mack being in a knee brace, I did not know that. So that's to be something to keep an eye on. But as far as the 4 freshmen.
So see how she can do. I mean, can you hear me?
Yeah, you were cutting in and out. So yeah, leaks for a new facility. That will be interesting. I have heard leaks as well, Colin. I've heard leaks that have been mentioned on that. And look, you're moving to the SEC. The money, I think, is always going to be maybe there for future renovations. So it'll be, I'm curious to see what happens as they move to the SEC and the world changes a little bit, because SEC country. And one thing OU definitely has to get better at on the football side of things is tailgating. They are not anywhere close to what these SEC schools do with tailgating. And so and I want to bring up the softball tailgating. And, with Marita Hines Stadium and the limited capacity that it had, they had the game shown on that big screen, that television kind of out in the behind the stadium. It'll be interesting to see if they do that with Love's Field, because now Love's Field will seat 3,000 or a little more than that. So they should sell that out. And I don't know if they'll actually kind of have that kind of standing room only, or where you could watch from the back. You there, Jay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can. Nate Kearney says, I think it was dumb what they did at the Texas softball stadium. Mediocre, but they built that indoor, so they're not going to build a new stadium. Yeah. Maybe I've heard the same thing. My sister lives in Austin area, and we've been by and seen that and caught a game there. And it's not maybe the best environment, especially compared to what they're stepping into in SEC country.
What would you say the SEC stadium is the best there?
Yeah, I'd like to get Nate's thoughts. He's in
Alabama.
Yeah, and I don't know. I've not heard of Tennessee's. Have not seen Tennessee's facility, what all that entails. And also, you don't see behind the scenes. That's one thing about Love's Field is we did talk to the recruits that have been there. Some of those we had on last week in the 2025 class, Jay, that talked about, we asked if they were shown Love's Field during their visit, and they were able to see kind of where things would be. And they just had everything great to say, and they haven't even seen it really. But Nate says A&M. Not biased, it's gorgeous. And I've never seen that stadium up close and personal. I've only been to the football stadium, and that's been, like I said, years ago. So
I've heard that from multiple people, though, that A&M's a great place to watch softball.
Yeah.
Hey, what are
Arkansas
your thoughts?
Jay Jay, you should know Arkansas. You live right there, about near Fayetteville. So
It is. It is. Arkansas is a great stadium too. I
I'll
think
actually be at the University of Fayetteville tomorrow for the big Chili Pepper Cross Country Festival, massive event. I'm going to see some colleges run there tomorrow evening, and then they got the other event, the high school event there on Saturday. So that'll
hey
be good. Columbia, yeah, Mizzou. My in-laws live there in Columbia. It is a nice environment as well.
hey, what are your thoughts on Florida State? Are they going to be there again in the World Series? They had that pitching staff that was really good, and their coach, good coach. They seem to always be a good program. I could kind of see them back in there again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many they've lost from that team. So I don't know. I think Utah's on the up and up. I think Utah is going to be maybe making some noise in that conference.
Tennessee,
Tennessee is one that's going to be there. Tennessee did not lose a whole lot. They gained some too, right? I mean, I know they did pretty good in the portal. Nate says 10,000%. Their fresh class is insane. So yeah, looks like they will be. Yeah, keep the comments coming. We're going to go on here for about 9 more minutes. We'll end this at a 45 minutes. So at 9 minutes from now, we'll end this. Keep your comments coming. We have appreciated all your comments. We've got the super chats turned on and the thanks. And if you're not subscribed to the Sooner Surge, we are pumping out Sooner softball content because we know the viewers love to hear about what's going on in the Sooner softball world. It's a big thing. They'll be in OKC. Nate says, Steve says Arkansas with DJ Gasso will have a nice offense. That is something to bring up, Jay.
yeah, that is. I mean, he's going to help them tremendously, and they're already a good program, so that's just gonna help them even more. Arkansas, they just can't seem to get over the next hump, and I think DJ could help them get to that next level.
It's that way in a lot of sports for Arkansas.
Yeah, it really is, except basketball.
And that's the scary thing of entering the SEC. The SEC, it's very easy to maybe be middle of the road because so much competition. Nate says Duke is a sleeper, and here's the deal: they're legit. I believe is Sydney Romero on staff at Duke still, Jay?
She was,
or was it North Carolina? I'm pretty sure
no, it was Duke. It was Duke.
Former Sooner Sydney Romero is on staff at Duke, I believe. I think she's still there, but yeah, that would be one. I know OU played Duke last year, and she left for Oregon. Okay, thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. I had not officially heard that she had left for Oregon, so appreciate that. I did not officially know that, but Duke last year showed some improvement. So yeah, Sydney is at Oregon. Steve confirms that as well. Look at you, viewers. Appreciate it. You guys know your softball.
I'm kind of surprised Oregon hasn't kind of taken that next step, and maybe they will now. I mean, but there's so many good softball players on the West Coast. You got UCLA, and you got a lot of the schools that are really, really good, but like just haven't seen a team like Oregon really get to that next level.
And their facilities are beautiful. I mean, they're top notch. You see a lot of recruits at OU's landing, and they are from Washington area, Oregon area, from that West Coast. They look at UCLA and OU, kind of the two teams. But
Stanford.
Sam asked if anyone know if the softball team has a big booster. And I do not have inside information on that. As far as if there's a big booster, here's what I do know. There's definitely the NIL deal probably at OU is pretty good. And I don't know exactly what that is, but there's definitely they've gotten some funds donated. I know that.
Yeah, they had good amount of funds donated before Love's Field.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
So you would have to assume there's something there. Good 25 commits. I think Nate is talking about Oregon, that maybe they're going to be able to make that next step, unless he's talking about Duke. But I think maybe Oregon there. You can confirm that, Nate. Any trap games this season with OU softball being so good? Now, here's the deal on that. I have not seen the official schedule release, Colin. We have the Mary Nutter schedule. And look, I would say there could be some trap games if Gasso wasn't the coach and if they didn't have the senior leadership. With this senior leadership and with the streak that they have in line, I don't know. I think it'd be hard to trap this team.
It to me, it's hard for it to be a trap game with this team because they're almost playing against themselves. You know what I mean? It's more of like they're trying to. They just don't want to beat themselves. They're trying to be better than they were the day before. And when you have that type of attitude, then you don't. I don't really necessarily see trap games. And also, if you look at the Big 12 is not a dominant league. I mean, when you look at that, who's really going to compete with them in the Big 12?
Correct. And you did someone mentioned Texas earlier, and I forget Tech. It's obvious in football we think about OU and Texas going to the SEC, but you're right. Baseball and softball, those two programs are really going to even up the strength and strengthen the SEC conference. So, and there's a lot of great coaches in the conference as well, not
Hey,
just players.
I would love the viewers to comment. Here we got 5 or 6 minutes left here. Who hits the first bomb in Love's Field this year, guys? Who's it going to be?
You know who I think Jada Coleman's leading off the opening at bat is going to be a bomb from Jada Coleman. That's my take. Who do you got, Jay?
I got Alyssa Brito.
Burrito bombs, dude. Burrito's one we haven't even mentioned really tonight. Collins going K9. K9 with the first bomb. Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Didn't the only game OU lose last year, Kinsey Hansen did not play in? Am I right in that?
Yeah, Baylor.
Yeah, that's what it was. Baylor, and Kinsey Hansen was injured and did not play. Not going to be one-loss national champs. Could be 2 losses or 5 losses or all of that postseason. What's going to matter? Steve says Ella Parker. Ella Parker is one we haven't mentioned, Jay.
She's one I'm super excited to watch this year, and
Big time.
she's really, really, really good player. And there's been talk that she could come in and start. She's that good. So it'd be interesting watching the battle series to see, just kind of watch her play for the first time.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm excited about in the battle series. There's so many that we haven't got to see yet. How many of you viewers are going to be getting up down to Marita Hines Field to watch this battle series? I know tickets are $15, Jay.
Yeah.
You saw Gasso kind of with their tweet talking about get out there and watch. And I do agree with this, Nate. The competition is much better in the SEC. There's games in the Big 12, let's be frank, that and Baylor was a little surprising last year, but Baylor wasn't who we thought they might be later in the year. They definitely fizzled out. Texas even struggled some last year, and they were kind of the cream of the crop there. But outside of OU, OSU was good, but they struggled immensely as it got later in the year. And you're right.
The depth.
With the
It's the
likes of
depth.
Texas, Alabama, A&M. We can name them all. There's not many that you're going to say that they're just going to run roll every single opponent like maybe they were able to a lot this year.
It's the depth of the SEC. They're just a lot deeper all the way around.
Appreciate you being on here, Jack. The battle series will be better than a lot of regular games, and I think it's going to be carried on one of the. I have heard
Plus.
ESPN Plus, which means Flow Network or Flow Softball is not going to pick up. I guess that I was thinking Flow was going to have it, but I also
I think
ESPN Plus.
You're thinking Mary Nutter, Jeremy. I think Flow carried Mary Nutter last year. ESPN Plus is carrying all the battle series.
Oh, I see that.
And I haven't heard yet. I haven't heard yet on Mary Nutter, but ESPN
Mary
Plus
Nutter,
starting next week.
Yeah, so the battle. Yeah, right. I was thinking it said Mary Nutter there. Mary Nutter, I heard was Flow, but someone also had mentioned that maybe ESPN was going to pick that up. Yeah, definitely some competition there in the SEC. We haven't even mentioned Kentucky. Some great atmospheres. Colin says if you could ask Coach Patty Gasso a question, you can get the answer right away. What would you ask? Maybe who starts at shortstop or how long are you going to be here? I would probably ask her, my first question would be, how many more years do we have of you here in Norman? Because I think she could put 2 or 3 or 4 at shortstop, and it's probably not going to matter that much. But losing Patty Gasso, you're losing a legend. So
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know what I would ask her. I might ask her who's the best player she's ever coached.
been some great ones.
There's been some great ones. I wonder who
And
her opinion would be.
I'm not putting down any of the past players, but 2 or 3 of them could be on this team this year. In some of these seniors. Another SEC comment: South Carolina can beat anyone too if they're having a good day. SEC just to lead across the board. And really in softball, guys, pitching makes the world of difference. I mean, you can have an ace that can just shut people down. We've seen it in the postseason with different players. Who's the Florida State pitcher, Jay? She got a long name. She was their ace.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, so really,
you also have the one from a few years ago. You had the one from a few years ago that beat OU in the postseason. Yeah,
James Madison, right? Oh yeah,
yeah, she was really good pitcher.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, Tennessee. You got the former OU player Mackenzie Donahue there at Tennessee. They're loaded this year, guys. They are loaded. And really, guys, we are so appreciative. This is the first softball live we've done. We're at 46 minutes, and we could probably go on for an hour and a half. We're going to do these each week. And as season gets closer, we may do 2 a week. And Nate, appreciate you bringing in kind of the SEC lens as we are entering that SEC country in the next next season. Joss and Olive has to be up there, yes, for sure. Shay Knighton. And there's so many. And we appreciate you guys being on here, hopping on here, keeping the comments rolling. We have the super things turned on if you want to give to that. But really, we just appreciate you being subscribed to the Sooner Surge. That's what we like. We like this Sooner Surge family that you guys are a part of. And we really appreciate you guys cranking it here with us, here on the Sooner Surge. Thanks for subbing, Nate. Turn on those notifications. Appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys. Enjoy your weekend coming up. A lot of good games in football this weekend. Probably some great ones in SEC country as well. We know that because there always are. So until next time, guys, Boomer.
Boomer.